Satnam, welcome to my channel Indigo Angel. Today I have an Orion collective message for you. So if you resonate as an Orion Starseed or Orion Soul Genetic, just know there are many different reasons this origin is activating inside of your DNA and within the particle universe and anti-particle universe within your own toroidal field. There are purposes and there are missions to be embodied, and these are all multidimensional within one's perceptions of the crystal spiral matrix of eternal life. This has to do with the Kathara eternal life grids, the rhythmic circular vibration from the prana seed of life, the 13 moon cycle, and the original earth template. These are all aspects of ascension and light body activation of your fourth density self and above. These experiences you are consciously and unconsciously experiencing as a wave full frequency band, kind of like a repeated sequence of, flashing on and off, like scalar standing wave points within a morphogenetic field. So this is through fractal light and sound expanding and contracting God geometrics. For the elemental body would be fire, air, earth, and water, and ether. This would be from a spiritual perception, but as you go quantum within that, you break it down into like the periodic elements. And here is where we basically can oscillate in that quantum elemental body, going from dense metal protons of iron cores with 26 protons at their center to hydrogen with 1 proton at its center. So hydrogen will basically break down and turn into a dense metal once it enters into the Bardo process. But as you choose the ascension path, you can oscillate from going from iron to hydrogen perceptions of elementals within your own body. This awareness and perception anchors in your anti-particle selves into the third density as you attune to this quantum energy within yourself. So this is the activation of celestial ascension codes in your DNA. All of this starseed stuff is just basically higher awareness of the multidimensional bodies anchored into the physical body on a quantum scope of source understanding. As you go through these processes within your own Orion soul genetic and your own ascension, you'll be constantly receiving, transmitting, attuning, and embodying the new frequencies of the genetic firing codons. So this would be starseed lineages, race and lineage firing codons, activating ancestral memory and holographic realities to remember again what you basically have been transmitting for thousands of years, and that is the awakening the remembrance of the Christ star return. And through these processes, you come to realize that you hold the entire timeline of Earth in your cellular memory. So through your Orion soul genetic, galactic war history comes at no surprise at all. The Christ versus Antichrist DNA is basically burned off in the Aurora continuum. So that's within the gold element of the body. And you basically throw the good cop, bad joke for the simple-minded scam since 37 AD out the window, because you become the entire universe again. And I have to laugh about it because it's so vast and so intricate, yet so small and limited to, specific genetic races. Limited to those basically carrying the Black Sun agenda or the Belial Sun agenda. Any quantum attuned Orion will probably be aware that these are actually 2 intruder races that reside in the Orion Stargate system, with 2 opposite agendas while simultaneously being at war with each other. And this is sometimes going on within one body. So there could be 2 wars against each other within one genetic makeup. So this is really getting into the epigenetic evolution of these hybridizations. But basically, they're fighting over the Death Star Merkaba, the Black Sun agenda being the digressive fallen reptilians, and the Belial Sun agenda being the fallen Anunnaki hybrid races or fallen Elohim. This is considered a 10-strand reverse DNA matrix of all the ET intruder races in Orion Stargates, which are Seraphim, Draconian, Anunnaki, hybrid human lines. These are the lizards responsible for, some of you might have heard of, the solar scalar pulse testing that they were doing in Alaska and Antarctica, Central America, Mexico. And all throughout the 1950s, the Zeta Regalian, Draconian, international Illuminati ranks basically accepted Dominion deals, and they say these invasion deals happened in Orion's sword. So a lot going on in Orion. And I believe the star systems in Orion's sword are primarily Rigel and Capella. And I mean, the nastiest lines of these races have done all of their dirty work in Orion. So this is the Borgias, the Thetans, the Zetas, and the Dracos. And all of this fighting basically comes down to the agendas of the sun. Like, what is their agenda with the sun? Whatever the sun agenda is of that race, that's how they attune to solar energy plasmatically. So that will be the consciousness expression of their lineage on Earth. So if one has iron plasmatic awareness, basically they see the underworld. If one has gold plasmatic awareness, they see creation. With these specific genetics, unattuned to elemental bodies, their sole focus is on control and conquer, with no regard for any other elemental life forms. So they solely focus on using mind control manipulation, EMP, scalar, and biogenocide techniques and technologies. This is the fallback DNA matrix that basically only allows for 3 dimensions of consciousness. They maybe have access to 10, but there is no cellular transmission. So this means the physical body is completely unaware and unawakened of physical energy transmissions, completely unaware to elemental magnetic interdimensional perceptions. And they reside in the first harmonic universe on Earth, with one main goal: to genetically digress Earth humans out of the 12-strand DNA potential, completely extincting the original angelic human template if they had it their way. But this is where the original Orions, and this is what I write these collective messages for, is the original Orions, the feline hominoid Orions, the overseers of the Emerald Covenant races from the Orion Association of Planets, incarnates that are here to assist with the conflict between the sun agendas. Because there are much higher evolved councils here that have anchored in sun agendas that are interwoven into the harmonic universes themselves. Some of you may be aware of those already. That would be the Diamond Sun 12-strand DNA matrix, the Double Diamond Sun 24-strand, and the Emerald Sun 48-strand. These being the Lyran, Syrian, and Ahazi, a lineage that's ultimately incarnates from Tara. So Tara would be the density 4 through 6 Earth. This is a higher harmonic universe, and basically the incarnates are called Terranites or Tyrannosaeum human lineage, and this resides in a completely higher harmonic universe. But I just wanted to say, first of all, that I stand with the Orions in a Guardian Alliance of all 12 councils and support the Orion Humanoid Healing Earth Codes. I also support dualistic wave particle perceptions, or flipped and opposite parallel, so the polarity that stains the poles and rods of Earth, the Elohim of Orion, and the Polarian race. The Orions are basically a part of a task force or Guardian Alliance of 12 councils of the interdimensional associations of free world. This is where the group called the Freedom Fighters comes from. So I know a lot of you have probably heard about Freedom Fighters. So if you are an Orion Freedom Fighter, you are a part of the Task Force Incarnates on Earth that are basically shining light into the darkness, kicking ass and taking names, calling out injustices, refusing to settle for big, illuminated businesses of separation and indoctrinated submission to Death Star mechanics and overlays of the illusion. The Death Star Merkaba is likely kind of like a genetically modified source fractal, kind of like how food is being genetically modified. It's basically a false system of not understanding or even caring about the bio-regenesis process. So it's basically overimposed and it's pulling energy into a wormhole. So the Orions have taken a vow to protect the time matrix from fallen angelic race dominion, standing not in service to self, not in service to others, but in service to truth. Bringing the polarity into unity, this is truly what these supreme soul alchemists do. Orion is the 8th council of Mintaka, Mintaka being in the belt of the central one, also called the string of pearls. Mintaka is a blue giant star that's extremely high. It's actually almost considered a wolf rayet, meaning the hottest star in the sky compared to other stars. So they actually say there is a complex gaseous mess around Mintaka, and it's suspected to be a birthplace of new stars, which is ultimately a birthplace of eternal consciousness. Every star's core is basically an interconnected mapping system to the galactic highways of dissolving particle and antiparticle matter, coming together in a time vector merge, shifting perception as quickly as the rods of the planet to perceptions of the parallel Earth, the inner Earth, where one can merge consciousness with their antiparticle matter and transmute their DNA and basically pass through the halls of Amenti, which is a Stargate portal system used for telepathic interdimensional symbiosis. And within this mapping system of the Orion Stargate systems, we do actually have one gate that has decided to close, and Betelgeuse in Orion, so that star has closed its prana seed. It's basically now a super giant, a super red giant, and its helium is fusing into heavier elements. So heavier elements initiate the Bardo, which means it's preparing for death. This is expected to happen soon, and when it does, it's going to be a spectacular explosion. But what this means is that when a sun closes the final gate, all 15 layers of the dark matter template, called the Rasha body, need to separate, where this forces the Bardo process of all other living planets and stars connected to its solar system. So many other stargates and planetary prana seeds in the Orion Stargate system are preparing to die together. And this we will feel collectively within our own Orion soul genetics, kind of like a part of us is transforming and rebirthing. So this may be why you feel as an Orion Starseed soul genetic the urge to serve and protect in every aspect of your life, your family, your community. You stand in justice and you speak on the behalf of others' misfortunes. You might feel like there is no time to waste and the time is now and you have a voice. You may feel called to expose the truth, stand in your free will to live. You also may be tired and fed up with bullshit and things you see as not quick enough to change. There is like this cunning realism in your passion. On a collective level, this soul genetic transmutes duality for the collective to bring things back into wholeness. So some other Orion Starseed traits are insatiable thirst for knowledge, analyze and dissect all forms of information, hold opinions very strongly and do not change opinions easily, need quantitative proof to accept opposing viewpoints, require a lot of alone time to recharge, strive for protection, have a good handle on willpower and self-discipline. Orion ultimately operates from duality because it's essentially chilling right by the constellation of Gemini, the twins, and the brothers Pollux and Castor. So this is located at 11 to 28 degrees Gemini. And then also we have Betelgeuse getting ready for exit at 28 degrees Gemini. We are currently in the Aquarius first decan in sidereal astrology, so we are at 0 to 10 degrees of the first stargate in this decan, which the star is Aquila, which is an eagle. And the minor arcana for this decan is the Five of Swords. So its tarot meaning is really not that pleasant, and it is seen as being self-serving or as someone who profits from the anguish of others. We have to look at the Five of Swords as this suffered abuse from ruthless actions or even of having to be the perpetrator of harsh behavior. Altair's eagle in this decan is a predator, so it is not surprising there can be a sharp edge to this decan. And it's not surprising that this Orion burst of energy would kind of come through this decan, slaying the sword of justice and truth in that protective energy. I feel this information is important to anyone attuning to your Orion soul genetic, as this is a part of the crystallid tones of creation. So have the original crystallid tones of creation, and you also have through the blue flame, the gold flame, and the violet flame. This is an aspect of the 7 days of creation within self, as the entire creation story within your incarnation. And this marks initiations in soul incarnation through protected stargates of Lyra's cradle that ultimately assists with incoming creation for the ascension going out individually and collectively. See, once you get into the galactic realms, the harmonic universes somewhat match to the sun's agendas. The agenda being what these unevolved 10-strand reversal DNA matrices, and the only reason they are reversed is because they have chosen the step back path or the fall path. But this is ultimately showing and promoting that Earth's relationship to the sun is projected through harmonic universal relationships, and she loves all her children regardless of what their agendas are. Earth is a place all beings have come to fight out their evolution through illusory mirrors of projection and ruling battles over Templars and Cathara grids. And she chose this path herself, because if she didn't want it, she would shake us off like fleas. So her mental noosphere oscillates at densities 4 through 9, with parallel Earth running ahead in time by 8 to 9 year difference. Only when the Amenti gates open can this time continuum fully blend into one. So most of these agendas are being played out on Earth. And this anchors one into the galactic war that's being fought out on Earth. We transmute this through our Orion soul genetics, and we remote view it from our Orion soul genetics of the entire cosmic galactic human existence. Just know that this natural acceleration of genetic evolution will continue to be amplified 2019 through 2022 as we go through massive pole migration and magnetic alchemical sun cycle transition and all response factors thereafter. So I'd like to just say I hope you enjoyed this Orion transmission, and until my next collective message, thank you so much, and namaste, Satnam. Have a beautiful everything.